What's up, YouTube? It is Mr. Charlie Black coming at you from the Mr. Charlie Black YouTube channel with another video. This one is called Color Lines. I already came up with the title before I even played the video back to myself, so how about that? But color lines, because I've been getting this a lot lately and I feel like I need to address it. The Harlem Voters video and my Pennsylvania video have kind of inspired that, but I wanted to address it and move on. People ask me why I have to make certain things about race. Why the topic of race? Why is race always included in certain topics that I do discuss? And I'm going to break it down really easily for you. I get it a lot from military people who say, you know, when we were on the front lines defending this country, we were doing so not for black Americans or white Americans, we were doing so for all Americans. I applaud you and commend you for that, because that takes courage, it takes strength, it takes a lot of things that I don't think that I fully possess to go out there and risk my life. But that's the difference between you and I guess. But the reality of the situation is we are not all the same. I like it when people say, you know, I would like to look at the world as everyone is the same. And that's great. That's a great mentality to have. But I think that it's also ignorant in the sense that if you don't recognize someone's differences, that's where you draw problems. Some people have family that have moved here at such a time in history where they don't have any records of being anywhere else but America. That's unfortunate. I think that you should never be ashamed of or never be uninformed about where you come from. Because if it wasn't for the experiences in Europe or Asia or Africa or South America, you wouldn't be here. You would not be here in America. Something brought you here. Something brought your family members here, your great-grandparents or your great-great-great-grandparents here to America to live. And if you're not familiar with what that is, and if you don't have that identity, that's where you run into problems. I think that it's really important to know where you're from. And with black people, I feel that we don't have any idea, a lot of us walking the face of the earth in America, don't have any idea where we're from. And we see how detrimental it is. Because I see certain people who take the information that's spoon-fed to them by people that don't know who the hell they are. When I was younger, I used to go to classrooms and have teachers try to tell me things about Africa that they weren't aware of. They were just spitting out what had been taught to them, what they felt that they should believe based on what they'd seen on television or read in books. And that's not always the way that it is. If I had allowed them to, input that information into me, I would be ignorant. There are times where I've had to correct several teachers because they've never been to Africa, but they speak on Africa as if they've been. They are not even aware of the difference between Africa as a country, Africa as a continent. They, even from the country my dad's from, have said certain things that are very inaccurate, and I've had to run into that. These are people that we've put in the position of educating our children who spread lies and misconceptions. And that, to me, is a slap in the face. But if I was uninformed and uneducated, and if I didn't have any ties or any reason to know what I knew, then I could have been just like a lot of the misinformed people that I see today. When I look at black people, a lot of us don't know where we come from. And that's another history for another time, another video. But it has those effects. It's in our confidence. It's how we react to certain things. Because if you know exactly where you come from and what you've been able to accomplish, you're encouraged to accomplish more and more. But if you know that you are nothing more than a dumb slave, or if that's where what you come from is dumb slaves, then that is what it is. It's also important because you get to hear the different sides of things. I hear certain people talk about slavery, non-black people especially, and they simplify it. Oh, black people were stupid enough to let people enslave them for all these years. They didn't fight back. They didn't do anything. As soon as I hear that statement come out of someone's mouth, I say, you're either A, uneducated, or B, you failed to educate yourself. Either way, you don't have what it takes. You come ill-equipped to this conversation, to this debate at this point in time. And I listen to what people say about certain cultures, certain upbringings, and it just amazes me. I feel that you should always try to be informed every day that you live and you're able to interact with people. We're blessed with a diversity that is thriving in America. Why not embark on a journey to learn more about everybody around you? Because A person may look like me, may come from a totally different background, and have a totally different religion, a totally different way of thinking. And it's interesting to know how it came about. A person may look totally different from me and have that similarity, but not everyone who looks totally different from me has a similarity to me. There are people who aren't from California, who are from some small town in the middle of, I don't know, Iowa or something. They don't believe in the same things that I do. They don't have the same experiences. And they happen to look different. I'm going to want to go to them and say, hey, what other differences might you have that are unique to you? I'm not going to use them as a handicap or as a downfall for them. And I think that that's when you run into the problem. When you start to when you start to treat someone as if they are different from you in a bad way. Because differences aren't always bad. When you start to dismiss someone's differences, when you're not educated on all groups of people, only your own, that's when you run into problems. Color lines can be drawn, and color lines can be approached with caution, and they can also be respected. I think that the problem lies when you start to disrespect those color lines, those color barriers, or when you don't show interest in learning about them so that you don't disrespect them. That's my take on it. We'd love to know yours, so comment, send me messages, let me know. YouTube, stay tuned. I should have more topics pretty soon.